Hello, beautiful Rebecca. Now, for those of you that listen to my podcast, Love Life, you may recognise in a minute Beck's voice because she's my beautiful co-host. However, Beck is also, you've been to a few of our dinners at Social Aid and events.
I've been to Christmas parties and I've been to trivia night and I've been to definitely some dinners over the last few years, I would say. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And the thing I really enjoy about Jane's service is, first of all, that everybody who comes into Social Aid, they're a particular kind of person. Which sounds exclusive, but I mean
it does, doesn't it? It sounds like we're elitist, which we're not.
In the opposite kind of way, which is that the only people I've ever sat at tables with, be it at trivia nights or be it at small dinner parties or socialising on a balcony at Christmas, they've always been very thoughtful people, very generous people, very social people, asking you a lot of questions about yourself, open to share, easy to get along with, good sense of humour. I haven't ever had a bad experience at any of Jane's functions. I've always felt welcomed. Sometimes it's a little bit awkward when you very first arrive and you're nervous and you don't know anyone, but everybody at Jane's functions do exactly that. They all just take their courage in their hand and walk in the door and just push themselves to strike up conversation. So everybody's kind of in the same boat. And I've seen how the rooms warm up at Jane's functions. It's really interesting how at the start of a party, everyone's on their best polite behaviour. And by an hour or so, the conversation's really warm.
A couple of wines later.
And by the end of the night, people are swapping phone numbers. Like girls are swapping phone numbers with girls to go off and do shopping or to find out something about that person's business. And like all kinds of interesting networks happen. Obviously not just romantic interests, but it's also, I do think Social Aid is so much more than that. It's also about people finding out about other people's lives, connecting with new friendships, finding out where other people live if you're in a bit more of an isolated patch yourself, either through professional or
because I think as we get older, we kind of get a little bit stuck in our own ways and our own routines and our own social circles, etc.
That's right.
So it's quite exciting to, expand on that.
So that aspect is there, but I'll also definitely say that Jane is very intuitive and she is excellent at knowing who to put with who at a small function. She's very good at holding the energy and the space at a large function and really covering off to make sure that the balance is there, that all the different personalities are balanced out, that people always walk away feeling like they've had a really good experience. And I've seen firsthand how good her relationships are as well with the venues that she uses. So, she's got a number of places around town that she always relies on because she knows that they hold the energy of a dinner or a gathering really, really well. And I've been at restaurants where the maitre d' has looked after us like we were his family because he loves Jane so much.
I think they love how much business we give them.
They do, and like complimentary desserts and like, if you want to have a good night out. Yeah.
Oh, that is beautiful. Now, having said that, I have to touch on the fact I love that you've not had a bad experience. That's awesome. But it would be remiss of me to actually set people up to believe that's always the case. It's not. Even though our commitment is exactly the same with every dinner and every event, on occasions, sometimes things don't go as well as planned. And so I just think it's fair that people know the truth, which is you may, if you become a member, and I hope people watching this video do, they may go to a dinner and it may not be great. But the chances are that you're going to have 9 out of 10 are going to be good.
Well, I think there's two things there as well. You don't necessarily go to every single function expecting to meet your future partner because life doesn't work that way. But you just go being open.
If it did, I'd be, would have been open for business, got everyone matched up and closed within 6 months.
It'd be a very
different
ball game, isn't it? But you do go into everything with an open-minded approach. And the other thing is, this is what I meant at the start when I said Jane has a particular kind of person in Social Aid. They're very self-responsible people. So, if something happens which isn't great, they're adult enough to voice it or, work with it and not necessarily throw a tantrum or chuck a hissy fit or create ripple effects of drama for everybody else. That's, I guess, what I'm saying is I've never been in a scenario where anyone's making it all about them.
Yeah. So I think it's also, important that sometimes when we have what we perceive as a negative experience socially, it can often be the catalyst to give us clarity around what it is we actually do want from here.
Yes.
As well as, of course, the mirror held up to, well, why am I attracting this into my life? How can I be presenting differently so I avoid this scenario that's not for me?
Yes.
But, it is a minor experience that could occur. The majority are, nice experiences, which is good.
Absolutely.
So any tips for anybody that's thinking, I might like to try it, but I just don't know? any tips to help them to get across the line, to give it a go, but also to get a good experience out of it?
Well, I mean, it does come down to personal courage, doesn't it? But I think the smaller intimate dinners, I mean, maybe that sounds more intimidating to some people than a large event, but I do think when you're sitting down with 3 ladies and 3 men over the course of 2 or 3 hours, even sometimes we've stayed because the conversation is so good. You really
we're often the last to leave the restaurant. The lights are going on, the vacuum cleaner's happening.
It is a very nurturing environment. So I just want to assure people that they'll feel from the time they come in the door, they'll be given a name tag or a drink or a chair or an introduction. You know, you're really led into this service in a way that you're not sort of left just dangling awkwardly. It's nothing like that.
Because it is that first moment can be so awkward.
Yeah.
And I think that the hard thing for people that are watching this video that have not participated is that fear of that first 5 minutes.
It's,
you know,
it's putting. Nobody likes to do this. It's a bit like the public speaking thing. It's like worse than death. People have so much fear around being socially with strangers or having to strike up conversations from nothing. But I've never felt that kind of tension. Even though I sometimes do get butterflies going into a large event of Jane's that I haven't been to, I'm always fine within the first 2 minutes of walking in.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
It's fine. So there's really nothing to lose and so much to gain, because even if it's not necessarily about I'm going to find my future husband or my future wife, you will come away with so many more ideas and friendships and networks and social experiences and wineries and all the places that you can go to, music concerts, and you can have all of that sort of social life experience as well. So it's a very rich, abundant sort of a experience to have.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Beck.
Thank you, Jane.
And of course, you can listen to more on Beck, more from Beck on our Love Life podcast, which is at lovelifeshow.com. Thanks again, Beck.
Thank you.